Gaming. I'm gaming a lot because sometimes I'm in so much pain that's all I can do. But sometimes I'm in so much pain that all I can do is nothing and be in bed. What is ehlers danlos? It is a connective tissue disorder that makes everything really painful. It makes the collagen in my everything stretchier and hurt a lot. The body is over 70% collagen, and because of the stretchiness, dislocations or joint strain frequently occur due to the constant instability. EDS patients have a higher general pain sensitivity because of this, and pain can occur in any joints. That means spine, knees, fingers, anything that's supposed to bend has an awesome chance of hurting at varying degrees. The pain can restrict movement at lower levels and completely immobilize on worse days. When I do manage to go outside while I'll be walking for moderate distances, I walk with a mobility aid to support my joints and lessen the strain on my body caused by gravity from standing up. It makes everyday tasks very uncomfortable to perform, and I need to take frequent breaks. Repeated strain, like physical tasks or movement, can cause long-lasting body aches and exhaustion. I've lived with the effects of this my whole life. I simply just have to account for the level of pain and fatigue every day with everything I do. Because of the invisible nature of this disorder, it's incredibly hard to communicate the depth of these issues to those unaffected by them. It also is comorbid and exists with postural orthostatic tachycardia, which makes my heart It makes my heart rate fluctuate when I stand up because my blood vessels don't narrow to make up for the loss in blood pressure. This causes lightheadedness that contributes to existing exhaustion, so I spend more time in bed. Listen, all you need to know is that, like, if I do anything at all, a lot, it hurts. It hurts the next day, and it may hurt up until the next week. Recently, I've been getting more pain, just random excruciating pain that immobilized me. I don't know if it'll ever get better. I don't know if it'll ever get worse. But sometimes it gets worse, and I don't really leave the house much. Like, I don't really have much, like, I can do, but I manage it a little bit. I do exercise, and I do some drugs! What am I to do every day when I'm in pain, when I have enough conscious energy to be, I'm gaming, you know, but, like, I usually PC game, but you can't do that when you're in a lot of pain. So how do I get around this? When I have the capacity to sit at a desk, it's fine, but using a mouse in bed is difficult because of the arm resting angle and surface instability that make using a mouse for shooting games less comfortable and more inconsistent. Even with something like an overbed desk, staying in bed all day is yucky, and achieving optimal seating and mouse arm position can be unreliable. Not to mention, those things can be expensive. If I get sick with a cold on top of my conditions, then my joints can feel achy and painful, which can make any movement at all feel uncomfortable. Additionally, flare-ups can cause random excruciating ligament pain. For example, the pain in my back may become so severe that moving my arm too much could cause even more discomfort, and at worst can make using my arms or getting out of bed impossible. Even during making this video, I had a spell of not being able to use my wrist for most of the day due to random excruciating ligament pain. I had to face the possibility that if things got suddenly much worse for me, as they can do from time to time, if a bad spell were to become permanent, there would be times that even if I could sit upright at a desk, my mouse usage would be greatly impacted. Well, the answer is I have multiple instruments at my disposal. I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna explain why they're beneficial to me. Since I was high all the time on painkillers anyway, I had the idea that if I forced myself to play on controller as much as possible, even if I was really bad with it, I'd just get used to it, and I'd end up having a more consistent aiming solution for when these times occur. I played a lot of shooters on my 360 in my teen years, so it wasn't going to be a completely impossible challenge. It would just take a lot of being bad at it. What's that? Somebody's on the line. It's Michael Soft, and he's here to talk to me about 2005's latest invention, the 360-degree controller. You see, for the longest time, most people's experience with the 360 controller is, it's the default PC gaming controller. It's kind of shit, especially these stupid little sticks that drift the shit around. So what do? How can you play PC games with a controller if they're terrible. Oh yeah, and also the D-pad on this thing is a piece of shit. Like, you can press all the directions down at once. Like, you see this? Like, how, like, you have to press the button for like a mile before it lets you quickscope somebody. On a mouse, it's instant. Well, that's kind of what pissed me the fuck off for years, I realized. In fact, at some point, I bought one of these. It's called a Steam controller. This is what they looked like before woke destroyed it. It has these never-seen-before features called back buttons, which allow you to have inputs, and you don't have to... I don't have to take my thumb off of this laptop trackpad that's in place of a second analog stick. But Giovanna, that sounds so fucking stupid, you say. Well, I'm glad you agree. Because how am I supposed to aim with a trackpad? Whenever I've used this, it just frustrates me that there's no second analog on this. Of course, the new one fixed this, but this was 2019 when I bought this. But the Steam controller does have is these dual stage triggers that have a clicky tactile switch at the end of the pull. And this thing doesn't even have a D-pad. It just has another trackpad that sucks as a D-pad. The Steam controller is, however, quite helpful for playing slower casual games and navigating the desktop, though in a lot of cases I would just prefer a mouse if I had the space. And for a while I solved the controller problem with solutions such as the Nintendos, but those are shit too. They don't have the awesome back buttons of the Steam controller, nor do I like them. This is where I bought one of these, the Vader Pro 3. There are newer ones, but this is the one I bought because it was the one that was available to me. It has 4 back buttons, which is my default minimum because I'm insane. And the reason I need back buttons is several-fold. One, you cannot jump and shoot and etc. while also maybe adjusting your whole aim around. And 2, because of my hypermobile EDS fingers, they get really hurt if I keep mashing sprint. So it really helps if I have a button just instead to mash on the back, because I can press it a bunch. Oh yeah, this one I modified by putting chewing gum and blue tack and little bits of drinking can to make it more clicky and reduce the travel pull. And also I customized it. Let's turn the green screen off. Unleash the beast. But this thing kind of sucks also because you have to kind of cramp your fingers like this. You're less capable of pressing those individual back buttons when you have your fucking fingers cramped up like this. So last year I got myself one of these. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I play with something of an extended rod. This one's fantastic. The D-pad on this is ungross, and it's very clicky. And so are the face buttons, which are perfect for games that aren't Call of Duty. Another thing about this controller is that you have the option between Xbox 360 mushy mush and also what I like, which is winning. And this also has 6 back buttons. To explain my back button setup, I have left stick on this top one, I have jump on this one so I can still jump and turn around, crouch on this paddle, and then this one on Y for double tapping Y constantly for extra speed, X on this one for reloading, and I recently changed this from ping because I never used it to melee. What about gyro aim, you ask? No, I've played Splatoon, and I've played with gyro aim and turned it off many times in frustration. I don't think it appeals to me. Like, I think nunchuck aim is really funny. I think Wiimote aim is really funny. But like, no. I seriously, this gives me a lot of nostalgia from playing Modern Warfare 3. So I can play Modern Warfare 3. Would I do this with every game though? No, I think controller is really painful in some games, especially ones that don't have aim assist. I think the core of my enjoyment of controller games is aim assist, is that I can just go, oh, look at me, I'm activating my aim assist, and I like quickscope you even though I didn't deserve to. Oh yeah, and another thing is that this doesn't feel like I'm playing. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. It doesn't feel like I'm playing the fucking game. I've played, like, on keyboard and mouse so much that, to me, having the mouse in your hand feels analogous to moving a gun around. And, like, it's kind of similar in VR. On a fucking controller, you're piloting a drone! You're piloting a drone that resembles a human being. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. And I don't like it. And that's not to say I don't enjoy a controller, because I really do. Even as strong as aim assist is in certain games like Call of Duty, I still find myself going back to playing on mouse in them because it's just fun. Ultimately, joystick aim will never replace the feeling of using a mouse for me. If my condition were to permanently worsen, I would just have to get used to the worst parts of using a keyboard and mouse from bed. But for situations where this kind of setup isn't possible, or just for the sake of enjoying games in a different way than I would have previously, I've gone from anti-controller to maybe controller. I think it taught me a lot about aiming too. To go back and forth between the two input types made me mentally deconstruct the way I thought about my actions on the controller, and things like the tactics I developed to compensate for my reduced confidence ended up making me a better player when I went back to playing on keyboard. I went from completely dismissing controller in first-person shooters to seeing that they do the same thing as mouse and keyboard, just in a different way. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll make another video where I talk about my useless opinions on being disabled. I need to go to bed.